Hey guys, how's it going? Dex here for another lesson on some bass drum independence. So this is all about getting that bass drum into those kind of tricky areas which don't feel comfortable but sound awesome. So here's what's going on in this groove. Right, the first three beats are going to be bass drum and hi-hat, bass drum and hi-hat again, and then snare drum and hi-hat. So that's 1 and 2. That's what we'd count just there. So 1, bass drum and hi-hat, and bass drum and hi-hat, 2, snare drum and hi-hat, and then we've got this interesting bit on the and. It's going to be hi-hat and then the bass drum. So I'll go over that again. Bass drum and hi-hat, bass drum and hi-hat, snare drum and hi-hat, and then separately hi-hat and then bass drum. So all of that together would sound like this. And again. So this is just the first half of the groove. 1 and 2 and . And you can see the hat and the bass drum, they're 16th notes, which are a bit quicker. So you've got 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, 16th, a little bit quicker just there. So you wouldn't play it. You can see I'm leaving too much of a gap there. So the rhythm here would be apple, strawberry. So apple, strawberry. And again, apple, strawberry. So you can see it's a little bit quicker when I'm saying berry. Da-da. It's a little bit quicker. That's the first half of the groove. And then the second half of the groove is going to be pretty much the same, apart from you don't have that last bass drum. So now it's going to be 3 and 4 and, which is just bass drum and hi-hat together, bass drum and hi-hat together, snare drum and hi-hat together, and then a hi-hat. So the second half of the groove again, 3 and 4 and. Pretty straightforward, that bit. Now, putting it together, when you've got the first half going into the second half, this is where you get this little jump. You've actually got two bass drums that are ridiculously close together in terms of how you've got to play them. So if I just play the whole groove, you'll hear it. So the first half going into the second half. So you see it's a little bit quick for that right foot, but with a bit of practice, we'll be able to get it there. Now, let me play the entire thing a little bit quicker. So you've got 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. If I speed that up, you'll see the bass drum very quick. So you can see a little bit quick. So we're just going to work on that little kind of troublesome area. So by now, at this point, you should be feeling comfortable with the rest of the groove. It's just that tricky little bit there. So let me just break down what's going on there. So on the fourth hi-hat of the entire groove, so you can see we've got 1 and 2 and it's that hi-hat there. We're going to start from there. It's going to be hi-hat, bass drum on its own, and then hi-hat and bass drum together. So I'll break that down again. It's the 2, so it's and a 3, and a 3. It's those 3 beats just there. Hi-hat, bass drum, hi-hat and bass drum together. And again. And I get my students doing this all the time for ages, just to sort out that bass drum pattern. So hat, bass, bass and hat together. That's it. And a 3, and a 3. And make sure on that third beat there, you've got the bass drum and hi-hat exactly the same time. We don't want, you see they're slightly separate. So hat, kick, together. And you can see that's the little troublesome pattern in this groove. And then when you've got that a little bit quicker and you're feeling comfortable, try and just put it back in. So if I count 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and, you just try and put the rest of the groove together. If you want to, practice the and a 3 and. So that's going to be the hat, bass, bass drum and hi-hat together, bass drum and hi-hat together, because there's a lot of work going on the bass drum there. And again, and a 3 and. And then with the entire groove. And then I'll finally just finish up with a little bit of an improvisation using this groove, and I'll put a couple of fills, because again, you want to try and get this a little bit quicker, and then you want to be able to play it in music, so put it with some fills and things. heavy kind of bass drum work going on there. So, but this is good. It's gradually increasing that speed. You can look into bass drum techniques. I am using something called the slide technique, or some people call it the pivot technique, where I'm sliding up the pedal. That's another day. To get it super quick, you need to incorporate some kind of technique. But for this kind of speed, which is a usable kind of tempo, you don't need any special techniques for that. You just need to stomp on the bass drum and just get that. There's no kind of technique there. It's just playing the bass drum twice in quick succession. So, hope you guys have some fun with that. Remember to subscribe if you're new and you're enjoying the lessons. And again, I appreciate all your support. I will see you for another lesson soon.